feel like today an artist has to do much more things. Like music is just a little part of, you know, there's the big subject of social media. You have to take care of social media. You have to feed all these different channels, and each channel has a different format, like videos or YouTube videos, Reels, TikTok, Facebook, and you know, those are very different contents, and maybe also different viewers, you know, different ages watching, etc. So that can be a lot of work. The act of making music, of producing music, like of recording music, it's become very democratized, I would always almost say. Like it's become very accessible, which is great in a way. Like I wouldn't have been able to go into a studio. I was able to have a little home studio, like a microphone and an interface, very easy setup, and that's why I got to make music. So I'm very glad that I got to you know, produce stuff with a very low budget. But on the other hand, that just creates a lot of people being able to do it. And I don't know if you've heard the numbers, but there's like around 40,000 new songs on Spotify each and every single day, and it's like, how do you stick out of this? It's just an ocean of music, which can be great, but also not, obviously. If it's about the content, it's, you know, my face is gonna be in the video, so I have to be doing it. So it's kind of, yeah, it can be very fun, but sometimes it's also like, I just want to make music right now, and it's about the balance, really. I really have to make the time to create the content, but for me, music, the act of creating a song, like making a song, it just takes time, and time that I need to put away my phone. I need to shut the emails. I need to shut off everything. Otherwise, I'm not able to properly create and hear myself almost, you know. So it's really like, I have this amount of time, where do I put it? What needs the focus right now, you know? So for example, right now I'm working on my second album, and with my manager we discussed, hey, look, it's not worth like doing everything 50-50, a little bit of everything. I have to focus on the new music, otherwise I'm never gonna get it done, which is not good for a musician. So yeah, I decided that, okay, I'll cut back. I'll pull a little bit of a break on the socials. Like I'm posting a few things here and there, but I'm not like super active, you know. 85% of the time I'm a quite disciplined person. Like I like being organized. I have an agenda. I try to follow the agenda, but sometimes it's just sometimes it's not possible, and you gotta let life happen too, because that's where the inspiration comes from. What am I gonna write about otherwise? The stories I write about are very personal, but it's just things that occupy my mind and that won't let me sleep at night, basically. Like things that I care about, and that can be, you know, a personal thing that just happened, or something I've seen on my phone, something that I've seen on the news, or something I just observed by looking out into our society, and things really, my songs are just how I feel, things that bother me. I journal a lot when I write songs, because that's how I gather my emotions and my thoughts and what's been going on in my life and what's been bothering me. And usually, like now for the second album, there's been a theme that I very much like to write about, and because of this theme, I have started gathering like visual inspirations, like pictures. I did a Pinterest board with lots of different inspirations, but surrounding that theme of the songs. So it's very much the songs that kind of draw the outline, and then from this I try to find an overall theme. I try to find the pictures that match the stories of the songs. And I try to create a concept out of the themes, out of the things I write about, basically. My first album is called All the Colors of the Sky, and I always had this thing of the colors. Like I wanted to do something with colors, because I felt like the songs that I wrote for the first album are very different feelings and emotions that I went through. So there's songs about hatred, there's songs about love, songs about hope, songs about feeling very numb. So there's a very broad spectrum of emotions on there. And that's why I thought like colors, but spectrum of colors and all of these things I always had in my mind. I love the blue sky. I love the blue sky, the sentiment of a blue sky. But if it's about my emotions, how I feel when I look at the world and myself right now, it's very much, it's everything. It's just the chaos, and I try to hold on very dearly to the blue sky moments. I mean, what I did with the first album is I just put up music on there that felt aligned with the theme, and that just felt right. I just wanted to release music that I enjoyed, that I personally thought like, damn, this is cool. I can't wait to play this music on stage. It's music that's meant to be played live as well. So I guess on the first album you could definitely hear like the different influences that I had growing up and that I still have. And I don't know, I don't like the idea of me having to settle for, let's call it one corner, like of this beautiful spectrum of genres that we have. But I think the second album is gonna be a little bit more defined. Like it's not like less gonna be like this, is maybe a little gonna be like this, you know, a bit more one direction of genre. But I don't know, we'll see. I just like to make music. I don't like to think too much about the genres and things. I just want to make great music, you know? So yeah, and have fun with it. I think in the very first moment where I make music, where I create music, it's a very egoistic thing. Like I make music because I like to do it, because it's a part of me. It's how I can express myself, how I can deal with my emotions and everything. So I think it's mostly an egoistic thing up until the point where I decide to share the music. Because then it's like, hey world, this is a piece of me. You can take it, you can listen to it if you want to. You don't have to, obviously. But overall, it's about, I don't really care about what other people think too much about my music. Yeah. I mean, if you like it, I am honored. I am please be a part of the journey, and you're welcome here in this world and space. But yeah, I think I wouldn't be too happy if I let too many people talk into my music. It's more the angsty emotions that I like to write about. Especially with this, but also in the first album, but especially with the new songs, it's just me looking out at the world and thinking like, wow, this is going downwards. This is not looking too bright. But what I try to do is I like to wrap these negative emotions, or well, these heavy emotions, let's say like that, these heavy emotions in like rather colorful wrapping paper. Like I like to add a touch of irony to the words with the music. So I have this contrast, like maybe the words are very serious and very heavy and very sad, but the music is like, hey, but look, the world is doing fine. We all post lovely pictures of us, how we're doing great on social media. You know, that type of way. So that's what I try to do. Like we can't be only depressed, but you know, the world is heavy and life is heavy, but it's also great sometimes, you know. I should write more happy songs, I think. Actually, I'm realizing. I love performing. I love to play shows. It's just great because when else do I get the chance to actually meet the people that are so far away geographically? And there's just another type of connection. Live music is just something that you can't replace, in my opinion. It's there's something that happens that's very magical. I have 2 live music setups. One is when I play by myself with my loop station, which I'm actually gonna do in Singapore in June. So it's me, my guitar, the loop station, a little bit of beatboxing, backing vocals, stuff going on. Or I have my band, which I usually play in Switzerland with, you know, for bigger stages such as festivals, or my headline tour with the album. There's an arrangement going on. With the band, there's lots of, I think, I like to call them like a little bit of badass moments where it's like, you know, there's a bass, there's kicks, there's crashes, there's excitement going on. Whether with the solo setup, it's much more intimate. I love it. It's just different. I love both versions, but the solo setup is intimate, is closer to the audience. I talk a little more, and it's obviously stripped down versions of my songs. I love making music, and I don't think I could ever lose this. That's a very core part of me, of my being, of my existence. Of course, sometimes there's doubts whether, you know, am I good enough? Are my songs good enough? If I, you know, I'm ever in a writer's block, I start to hate myself sometimes, and that's terrible. It's not healthy. It's a very toxic relationship sometimes I have with music. But at the end of the day, when I write a song that I feel great about, that makes me feel great, when I get to perform that song on a stage, when I see the reactions of people, or when I get the feedback of people that is positive, it's like a hug, a very warm embrace, and it's one of the most beautiful feelings ever. I want to write about the things that I think about right now. Every time I write a song, it's me right now, but I always very much think about, hey, I want to be able to listen to the song in 50 years and still be proud of it, you know? It's more that whatever I create now, I want to be very happy with, I want to be very proud with, and so I can look back and be like, well, maybe I wouldn't do it like this anymore, but I'm happy I did it that way, you know? So if it's about the now, I care a lot. If it's about my next 3 albums, I don't know yet how I'm gonna think, how I'm gonna feel, what the world is gonna look like. So I take it as it comes, you know?